8 billion women, all of them, simultaneously deciding you are the one. Not some handsome dude, not a billionaire, not a guy with abs you could grate Parmesan on. You. Right now. In whatever shirt you're wearing that you've worn 3 days in a row. And your first thought? Oh, nice. This is great. Your second thought, about 4 seconds later, oh no. Because here's the thing nobody tells you. Getting everything you ever wanted from the opposite sex isn't a fantasy. It's actually a psychological catastrophe wrapped in a very attractive bow. And by the end of this video, you'll realize that what you actually wanted had nothing to do with women at all. But we'll get there. For Real Bro here, where we say what no one else will. Now, before I explain the absolute beautiful disaster your life has just become, I need to ask you something. Something nobody thought to ask before they started daydreaming about this scenario. How many women are in your city right now? Because they're all on their way to your apartment, and your buzzer only works sometimes. Part 1. You're the most popular man alive. This is already a problem. Let's paint the picture. You wake up. It's a Tuesday. You have 17 unread texts, and you check them feeling mildly important. Eggs on the stove, coffee going, decent morning. Then your phone dies. Just fully dead. You plug it in, it comes back, and you have 400,000 missed calls. Not texts. Calls. Your carrier sends you a message that literally just says, "Please stop." And it's not spam. It's not a glitch. It's every woman on Earth, across every time zone, simultaneously deciding they need to be with you specifically. Your Instagram DMs have crashed. The app. The whole app. Engineers at Meta are staring at a server rack that's on fire going, "Who is this guy?" Your mom calls. She's proud. She's also terrified. She asks if you're safe. You say, "Yeah." She says, "Call her back." You say, "Okay." You don't call her back because you physically cannot, because your phone is receiving a call every 0.003 seconds. Now, you're sitting there, and this feels amazing for roughly 11 minutes. Then you try to leave your house. There are women outside. A lot of them. Polite, mostly. Some with signs. One has a banner she clearly stayed up all night making, and the glitter isn't fully dry yet. She looks exhausted and hopeful, and it's genuinely kind of sweet and deeply alarming. You can't go to work. You can't go to get coffee. You can't go anywhere because you are now, functionally, the most famous person alive. Not for anything you did, just for existing in the specific configuration that you exist in. And here's the first thing that hits you that you didn't see coming. You have not been prepared for this. Not even close. Nobody is. Because nothing in your life, not school, not your parents, not any YouTube video, taught you how to handle being wanted by literally everyone at once. You figured you'd work up to it. Maybe get a little more popular over time. Date around. Find your footing. Nope. Full 8 billion. Right now. Tuesday. And things, they are about to get so much bigger than you expected. Part 2. The best day of your life is also the worst day of your life. Okay, let's talk about the good stuff, because there is good stuff. We're being honest here. You are technically the most desirable person in recorded human history. More wanted than Brad Pitt in his prime. More requested than a Taylor Swift concert ticket. Every woman on Earth, smart women, funny women, kind women, wildly accomplished women, has decided you are worth their time. That's insane. That's objectively, statistically, cosmically insane. For a moment, you feel it. That deep, ancient, primal thing that every man has wanted to feel since the beginning of time. Chosen. Not just chosen. Chosen by everyone. Simultaneously. You stand in your kitchen and you feel like a god. For about 20 minutes. Then the logistics hit you like a freight train carrying other freight trains. See, being wanted by everyone sounds like freedom. What it actually is, and pay attention here, is the most suffocating prison ever constructed. Because everyone wanting you means no one can have you, which means everyone is simultaneously disappointed, which means you are now the source of approximately 4 billion units of unmet expectation, and they are all, somehow, your fault. You try to be nice about it. You're a good person. You start responding to messages, genuinely thoughtful responses, explaining yourself, being kind. You do this for 6 hours, and you have reached 0.000001% of your inbox. The math on this is not survivable. So you stop. And now you feel guilty, which, and I want you to really absorb this, you are feeling guilty for being too wanted. You are being emotionally punished by your own fantasy. You are the victim of your own dream. That's not a blessing. That's a psychological paradox that therapists would charge extra for. And quietly, softly, in the background of all this chaos, a small, uncomfortable feeling starts showing up. You don't know if any of it is real. Every woman wants you, but why? What did you do? What is it about you specifically? Because you know yourself. You know the cereal you eat standing up at the sink. You know the text you've left unread for 3 days because you didn't know what to say. You know the half-finished projects in your bedroom and the insecurities you've never told anyone out loud. And all these women want you, but they don't know any of that. Which means they don't actually want you. They want the idea of you. And the thing helping you may also be the thing completely destroying the only thing you actually wanted, which was to be genuinely known by someone. But we haven't even gotten to the weird part yet. Part 3. Your brain breaks in approximately 72 hours. Day 3. You haven't slept properly. Not because you're out living your best life, because the noise outside your window doesn't stop. Because your phone, even on silent, buzzes so constantly it's basically become a white noise machine. Because you had a dream that you were being chased and woke up relieved, which is a very bad sign. Here's something nobody talks about when they fantasize about being universally adored. Humans are not built to process universal approval. We evolved in tribes of like 150 people. Our brains are literally wired to handle relationships in the dozens, maybe low hundreds if you're a charismatic type. The systems in your head that handle social information, reading faces, managing expectations, remembering who said what, they have a ceiling. And you just sent your brain a request load that would crash a supercomputer. You start making decisions that make no logical sense. You become weirdly indifferent to a woman who is genuinely incredible. Smart, funny, gets your references, laughs at the right moments, because there are 4 billion more and your brain refuses to register scarcity. And here's the brutal truth about human desire. We are fundamentally, biologically wired to want what we can't fully have. When something is freely available, infinitely available, always available, your brain stops assigning it value. Not because you're a bad person, because you're a human. Dopamine doesn't flow toward guaranteed outcomes, it flows toward uncertain ones. This is called the reward prediction error, and you are now experiencing it at a scale no neuroscientist ever modeled. You are surrounded by everything you wanted, and you feel nothing. You feel less than nothing. You feel a specific kind of hollow that only comes from getting exactly what you asked for and discovering it doesn't work the way you thought. You start thinking about a girl you dated 2 years ago, the one who made you nervous, the one whose texts you'd reread, not because she was perfect, because she was uncertain, because she might have said no, because the possibility of rejection made the connection feel real. And right now, rejection is the rarest substance on Earth, and you are starving for it. You are now trapped inside something you thought you wanted. Welcome. Part 4. The moment you try to choose, everything falls apart. Here's where it gets actually interesting, because at some point, you try to fix this. You're a reasonable person. You think, okay, I'll just pick someone, one person. I'll be intentional. I'll make a real choice and build something real. Solid plan, mature, respectable. Good for you. Except, the moment you choose someone, one person, out of 8 billion, the remaining 7,999,999,999 experience what can only be described as a collective emotional event. And I don't mean they're mildly bummed. I mean your choice of one person instantly makes you the most controversial figure on the planet. You are now the man who rejected more women than any man in history. Think pieces get written. People who have never met you have opinions. Someone with 40 followers posts a thread that gets 2 million likes. The discourse about your choice goes on for weeks. Someone does a breakdown analysis of her versus the other candidates. It trends. And the woman you chose? She knows all of this. She knows she was selected from an impossible number, which sounds romantic until you realize what it actually means for her. She will never, not once, not for a single Tuesday morning, feel special. Because you could have had anyone. And choosing everyone's backup option is somehow worse than choosing no one. She starts to wonder why you picked her specifically. You explain, she's not sure she believes you. You try harder. The trying makes it worse. She loves you, but she's in her own head constantly, and it's because your situation is inherently, structurally impossible to feel secure inside. You've just discovered something genuinely shocking. Being chosen by the world doesn't make the person you choose feel chosen. It makes them feel exposed. And there's one more thing. The thing you haven't admitted to yourself yet. You realize, sitting in the quiet, maybe late at night, that you don't actually know what you want. That you've spent your entire life imagining this scenario, daydreaming about it, using it as a measuring stick for your own worth. And now that you have it, you have no idea what to do with it. Because the fantasy was never about women. The fantasy was about feeling like enough. And being wanted by everyone on Earth has not solved that. Not even a little. There is one final truth nobody saw coming, and it's going to reframe this whole thing. Part 5. You didn't want 8 billion women. You wanted one moment. Okay, theory time. This whole scenario, 8 billion women, universal desire, the buzzing phone, the banner with the wet glitter, all of it. None of it was ever actually about women. You've been fantasizing about proof. Proof that you're enough. Proof that the version of you that exists, flawed, uncertain, still figuring things out, is worth something. And your brain, because it's a dramatic overachiever, made the proof as large as it could possibly be. Every woman, all of them, simultaneously. Because a part of you believes the only way to know you're enough is if the number is undeniable, if it's literally everyone, if there's no possible sample size large enough to dismiss it. But here's what's quietly devastating about that. Approval from people who don't know you doesn't touch the part of you that needed convincing. You can be wanted by 8 billion people, and the one voice in your own head that says, yeah, but do they actually know you? Doesn't budge. Not even slightly. Because that voice isn't measuring external data. It never was. The thing that would actually fix it? One person. One specific, real, imperfect person who knows about the serial and the unanswered texts and the half-finished projects and stays anyway. Not because they have to, not because there are no other options, but because they looked at all of you, including the weird parts, and said, yeah, still you. That's it. That was always it. And here's the callback, because yes, I'm doing a callback. Remember the beginning? You woke up on a Tuesday, eggs on the stove, coffee going, 17 texts that made you feel mildly important. 17. Not 400,000, 17. And you checked them feeling something. Not overwhelmed, not hollow. Something small and human and real. Maybe one of those 17 texts was from someone who knows you, really knows you. And maybe that, not the 8 billion, not the banner, not the trending discourse. Maybe that was the whole game all along. Damn. That changes everything. Drop in the comments, what did you think the fantasy was actually about? Because I guarantee half of you are going to say, no bro, I just wanted the women. And the other half went suspiciously quiet. Both answers are correct. Neither answer is comfortable. And if by some miracle you actually stuck around to the end of this, congrats, you have now watched an 8-minute video about why getting everything you want is the most efficient way to want more things. If that's not peak human behavior, I don't know what is. Subscribe, or don't. You were gonna do what you wanted anyway. For real, bro. Out.